Hello, my name is Lacey Dehart, and I'm doing a presentation on the age-old dilemma of to cheat or not to cheat. This question seems easy to answer when you're sitting at home in front of your computer or safe inside the classroom, but out in the world, when the situational details are at hand and you have pressure to perform a new job or you're looking at a new position, the right answer can become unclear. That's what's going on with Susan's story. Susan is a case taken from the textbook, and the details of her situation are that she had been recently hired by AccuSuccess, an accounting firm, and she was assigned to work on the Easy Company audit. Her job was to check 60 loan files against 15 criteria and make a conclusion about the collectability of each loan. Unfortunately, she began to fall behind and realized that she wasn't going to finish her work in the 40 hours budgeted for the engagement. The dilemma was presented when she expressed her concerns to the senior accountant and realized that possibly he wasn't looking at every one of his files. He told her that what the audit manager and partner really wanted was to get the job done on time and within budget, and that if Susan continued to take twice as long as budgeted and spend as much time as she was reviewing the files, she likely wouldn't keep her job. So given this information, Susan felt like maybe she should begin sampling her files as opposed to looking at every one, and that is the dilemma of this case. So first thing Susan should do in formulating a response is to get her facts straight. She may think that the senior accountant is only sampling his files, but she doesn't know this for sure. Even if she did know, would it be acceptable for her to do the same? If the firm had intended for her to sample the files, wouldn't she have been given those instructions to begin with? Plus, in looking at the data more closely, the senior accountant never said specifically anything to imply that he was sampling his files. He said that she was taking too long, and he explicitly told her he was not telling her not to look at every file. So Susan has approximately 4 options when considering how to proceed with the Easy audit. So some of the possibilities are she could decide to start sampling. This is by far the riskiest decision. She would be in direct violation of her duties and of her supervisor. She was told to analyze each loan against the 15 specific criteria and was told to not look at all of the files. Another option would be to voice her concerns to the audit manager. This is risky because Susan is new at the firm and hasn't had a lot of time to build credibility. If on her first engagement she's complaining that there aren't enough hours budgeted and that the senior accountant might not be doing his work up to par, this could actually look negatively toward her, especially without any proof that the senior auditor is in fact not looking at his files. If Susan decides on another option, she could just really buckle down and not bill for the extra hours needed to complete her work. In this case, she will likely keep her job, but this will be at the expense of long hours and possibly still looking bad because she can't get her work done in the time needed. Still further, she could speak with the senior accountant and ask him to work through some loan files with her and point out areas where she is spending too much time in hopes of diminishing some of the learning curve that comes with a new position. And with that, maybe she could move through the files more quickly and not doing her job. Luckily for Susan, these decisions are not exclusive of one another. The first thing she should do is to ask the senior accountant to work through several loan files with her and point out areas where she's spending too much time. This will not only help her to gain proficiency, but it will also help her to gauge whether or not the senior accountant is actually reviewing all of his files. Armed with this information, Susan should do her best to quickly complete all of the work and bill for as few additional hours as possible. If she determines that the senior accountant isn't looking at all of his files, she should discuss this practice with the audit manager, especially if these shortcuts could lead to an incorrect audit opinion. In meeting these responsibilities, especially in ethical situations, sometimes our personal and professional responsibilities may be at odds with one another. The first duty is professional duty, and this should always rank the highest. This is the auditor's duty to shareholders. The second duty is for an employee to do their job correctly, to complete the engagement, and without doing this with any additional or unnecessary liability to the audit firm. The final rights that a person has is to maintain employment and improve their professional skills and proficiency. A decision made following this logic will ensure that the greatest good is being performed for all parties involved.